just wrap up with, one of the things that, because I talk to Teresa a lot, and she's always telling me, "Stop being so hard on yourself. You're doing good." But one thing, because I was a crybaby, I was very, very sensitive, and so everyone would always be like, "Stop crying, you cry, you're always crying." And I was just, it would be anything. Like if I watched the news, I would cry. Like if I saw anyone being hurt, anything, I would just cry at the drop of a hat. And my husband, I'm the baby of my family. My husband's the baby of his family. And even as a boy, he said that, he kind of cried a little bit easily. I hope you're not mad that I say this, but he had some of the same feedback, like, suck it up. And then we ended up doing that to her. She's very sensitive. When I can tell whenever she's struggling with something, she either gets real stern, as you can tell, she puts on this shield, and like a force field almost comes over her, and that's when she doesn't want to cry in public or in front of people. Mm-hmm. But then otherwise, she's feeling fear, she's feeling any emotion. It can be just disappointment. She would cry. And at St. T.D. Jakes conference, there was a psychologist who was a pastor, and she was saying, if you don't let your emotions out, you're imploding. Right. And the way that she described it, I came back home immediately, and I was like, you can cry whenever you want to. And I wanted to stop doing that to her, because I realized I was kind of teaching her to shut off her emotion. And I remember we were in Colombia for something, and we saw this Italian icy place, and we both like Italian ices. And I said, well, I gotta go to the bathroom first, and when we come back, and this is like last year, so she was 17. So I said, well, let me go to the bathroom first, when we come back, we'll get icy. So we came back, it was closed, and she started crying. And I said, go and cry, girl. So that's one thing that I just really up until that point, until I heard that, I just kind of cringed a little bit, because and I'm like, I was the same way, but then I did the same thing that other people did to me. So I do kind of regret that a little bit. So with that, we want to talk a little bit about, if you can share one word that you would use to describe your daughter, what would that word be and why?
Tori's fearless. She doesn't really fear anything. She's accomplished so much in 20 years. I look at her like, God, I wish I was just could take a little bit of that. She's like Taryn. She's a little bit both me and her dad. Her dad's real quiet and reserved, but when Tori wants to be vocal, she's vocal. She's gonna say what she wants. It doesn't matter if it's a 6'2" man. She's gonna say what she needs to say. She's done a lot in these 20 years. She's graduated college almost 2 years early from Clemson University. That's an accomplishment with itself. Mm-hmm. So again, she's fearless.
I would say my daughter Taylor is amazing. I mean, she's amazing because she has, like I said, I will always use her early childhood as a something that resonates within me. She has always been that amazing daughter that had her mind made up at such a very young age as to what she wanted to do in life. And she has definitely achieved it. She set out, Mama, I'm going to do this. Even when she went to Winthrop, well, it started in high school. High school, she wanted to be the president of the school, but some kind of things happened there, and for some reason, Taylor didn't get it. I mean, whatever the reason, but they said she actually won, but come find out she didn't get it. And then she went on to Winthrop. When we went to tour Winthrop, she was there, and she said, I want to be that ambassador that takes other people around to do that. She achieved that. Then she went on and became that educator. And then later on, she said, I'm going to go ahead and go to the highest level of education. And she got her doctorate degree. So she's just an amazing person. She sets out, she has her goals, and she sticks to it, and she achieves it.
I would say for Amber, I would use gifted. I think about how she has this ability with children, how she has this ability with animals. They were hiking one day, and a squirrel, which typically runs from people, we have a picture of her holding a squirrel, like, and it's just like she's like literally an animal whisperer. She's creative. I mean, she could like literally figure out anything. So I would use gifted to describe her.
I would say my daughter compassionate, because whenever she was in high school, she was like, "Mom, I think I want to be a nurse. I want to go to college where when I get out of college, I can get a job." Because a lot of her friends would, she would see that would go to college and they'd get out of college and they wouldn't, their jobs wouldn't be, at higher standards or whatever. But the stories that she tell me about the ICU, that what she does in the hospital is just unbelievable. And like her grandmother now is in ICU now, and she told me she went to go see her, and she said, "Mom, I had to almost be her ICU nurse there and help her." She's just very helpful. But the one word I would say for her, Deanna, would be compassionate.
I would say for, I have 3 girls. So the first, I would say Alyssa, she's so hardworking. Like, she's been working since high school. Like, she's that kind of person who never takes a day off. She works hard. She knows the life she wants. And she's always planning for her future. She wants her own business. And I know she's going to get there soon. I would say with Mia, she's my middle daughter, and she's so smart. She's a smart kid. Like, she's pre-med at Clemson, and I'm just so proud of her. I'm proud of both of my girls. And my little one, she's a rebel. She's something about her. She's got everybody's personality mixed into one little hard shell. So she's a rebel.
I would say Cameron is, I guess I'll use well-rounded. She's so talented and good at so many things. Like I said, she's independent, she's self-assured, but she's also a really good person. And, if she's your girlfriend, she's going to be your girlfriend. If she says she's going to be somewhere, she's going to be there for you. So I think of her as being a really well-rounded person, talented in many ways, but, good heart as well.
I'm going to stick with strong will. I was sitting here thinking I've gone through so many words and they all are her. But I think that's the part, is that like she set a standard for herself, and she set a standard for how she treats others and how she's going to allow people to be treated in her vicinity. And she sticks to it. She's not moved by circumstances or, if this person doesn't, those things hurt her because she's very soft-hearted. But I just love that she knows herself. Like, she knows what she's willing to do and what she's not willing to compromise. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with strong will.
Well, for my daughters, I would use the word warriors, because they have overcome a lot of setbacks, and they're still compassionate women. They're very fierce when it comes to injustice, and they always find a way to complete whatever goal they set for themselves. Deandra is always compassionate, but she's a compassionate warrior. My youngest, Lanice, she's compassionate. She's a compassionate warrior. She stands up for justice. She is in law school, her second year right now, and you cannot stop her. No matter what you put in front of them, they're gonna make it. And that's something that if I should close my eyes today or tomorrow, I can say I leave them on a good road and in God's hands.
I had never thought about the word. I like her word that she uses as warriors. I actually have 4 daughters, and I'm very proud of them. They all have been real go-getters. Whatever they want to go after, they've successfully gone after, regardless of what they're going through. And then like my oldest daughter, Rebecca, she's very compassionate and caring about people. Always wanting to be there to help people. Naomi, she's always been a go-getter. She gets in a job and first question she's asking is, well, how quick can I go on to the next role? And it's 12 months, and 12 months she's going to the next role. And then my third daughter, she's actually in dental school. She's actually the chief resident. whatever role she's been in, she always has high accolades because she always is trying to help other people, not just do well in her role, but she's always reaching out to mentor to other people. She might be doing 2 or 3 things at one time to help other people, but going back helping her lower other students. And then my youngest, Tabitha, she's a go-getter too. She tends to be more on the quiet side, kind of, and everything like that. But she, in her own way, is confident about going after different things as well. So they all have a spirit of whatever they're going to go after, they go after it, despite different challenges that they might have going on, with their personal lives. And I'm very proud of each of them. And they've all gone different paths, but yet they all have been very successful in their own ways. I think they tend to try to compete with each other. So that's kind of interesting.
Can some of you share a challenging situation that you may have had with your daughter, how you navigated the situation and how you ended up on the other side?
I would say we moved here from New York, and Alyssa was, I think, in the 7th grade. That's my oldest, and we moved up away from our entire family, all our friends, and just was here by ourselves. We moved into this neighborhood, which was 17 years ago, almost 18 years ago, and she was really struggling. A lot of racism in this community when we first got here. We had come from, my husband was in a fellowship in Pennsylvania, and she was at an all-white school in a white suburb, and they were so racist towards her. And she came here and really struggled in this community. She kind of thrived in school, but I think that was at the beginning of her suffering with kind of depression. And it's brutal. I mean, it's brutal when you're in your formative years and you have all of these big challenges. Not oh, nobody likes me. It's I'm in a racist school where they call me the N-word, and I move into this new community, and I feel people are calling the police on me, and it's just it's bigger than I can handle. So, and then of course my husband and I were very young at that time, and blended family kind of stuff, and she really, really struggled. And I think when she was in the 9th grade, we got a family therapist, and she still sees the therapist. But there's such a stigma around mental health, and kids are really, really, really struggling. And even my daughter Mia, she had a breakup, and it was her first love, first, and it derailed her. She's a straight A student, pre-med. She's having to drop classes, stressed out, can't function. It was her first boyfriend ever in college. And I'm like, girl, you'll get over it. It'll be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to break up at least 50 times. I promise you. And I didn't take it as maybe serious as it was, but she was so depressed. And she says, Mom, you don't prioritize my mental health. And I'm like, we've had a family therapist for 100 years now. If you need to check in with her, give her a buzz. And of course, I'm not from the era of going to a therapist. That was what white people did, My mom was a single mom, a hardworking woman. She didn't have money to pay for a therapist, We just dealt with it. And I'm from the generation that we just deal with it. And my girls, they're not having it. They're we need to go to therapy. We're stressed out. And I'm learning every day, I always say, they're taking better care of themselves than I've ever did.
Right. My adjustment, and we didn't argue about it, but it was a decision that was made without my input. She's not coming back home after college. I mean, I got used to her being away for school, but being away, it was all right. I mean, I got your bed. The room is here. You got your freedom. You can come and go as you want. And I'm I was even saying, okay, we have the 3rd floor. You can have it all to yourself. You have, it's like a living quarters, except it doesn't have a kitchen. So I'm okay, how do I reconcile this? Because this is my daughter. This is my firstborn. She's not coming home. And it was an adult decision on her part, being a young lady. She got a job that she liked very much, and she liked the town. She liked the opportunities that are here. She has a young man that's her young man, so I can't say no. And even if I did,
Yeah.
it was happening anyway. So I had to reconcile that my firstborn baby girl is grown.
Okay, mothers, we've had a great conversation. So as we wrap it up, I'd like to ask you all to respond to, as your relationship evolves going forward, how would you like to see it grow?
My daughter's, I think she's the youngest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I really would like for it to just kind of stay on tempo. I think we have a really good relationship, in terms of, I think there's a good balance. I think I'm always fighting with myself. Like I was told I am a lawnmower mother. And that is, you have the helicopter mom, but I'm the lawnmower. And basically when they have obstacles, I'm ready to ram them down. Right. Mm-hmm. But I learned very early on, in order to foster communication, for them to ask them what they need from me. So I always say, she'll come and she'll get ready to tell me something. I'll say, okay, what do you need from me? And if she says mow it down, beat her tail, whatever it is, then I'm like, okay, or just listen. What's your opinion? She'll tell me what she needs. And so I think that's where I am. I don't function with a lot of control, but I do think that I am learning to deal with my disappointments, because we do have them. We have those ideas of what our children are supposed to do and how they're supposed to be. And she's so strong-willed. Like, we tell her all the time, I say, you just looking for oppression. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. Why are you so just a rebel? Like, she's out there just fighting. If Fannie Mae hammer just all day long, but Fannie Lou. And so I think for me, I just want to continue to be able to support her. I don't know where her little life is going to take her. But she's young, and I'm a little nervous because I listen to all y'all and I'm like, but I don't know. I like, with her being young, I'm scared. I'm a little nervous, but I mean, she's a fantastic person. She's never disappointed me in her, just in her being. So I'm going to just pray.
Where's going? No, I was gonna say, where I would like to see my relationship go is spend more quality time. I have been just busy, like trying to accomplish my own goals and being like the coach for her, but actually just spending more time just doing nothing but having fun. Like we would travel a little bit here and there, but on my my goal list for this year, like once a quarter, I have on my goal list to make sure that I do something with her at least once a quarter, that we go somewhere and just be.
Kind of the same here. Tori graduates in May, and I think May 15th we're going to start doing foodie trips, travel the world, being foodie moms and daughter trips. Just more time, spending more time. I think I've always been there when they were younger, but then I got into corporate America and started traveling with my job, and just that time away from my kids. I want to kind of get back into that time with my daughter.
I would say just stay in each other's corner and with me and my daughter. And like this weekend, we're taking a mother-daughter trip to Atlanta. We kind of do that annually, but we hadn't been doing it because of COVID and everything. But just stay in each other's corner and just motivate each other.
I would say continue to be the mom that I know that I always have been with my daughter, and that's being supportive, supporting her in any way that I can. I am a overprotective type mom. I am that. and just listen to whatever she expresses to me, because that has been some of our challenges. Is I tend to want to just want, make sure, Taylor, make sure you this, not allowing her to really develop and me see where she is developed, how she is developed. I mean, she's like, I've listened to your voice is in the back of my brain. I know what to do. I hear you all the time. She's like, so look, I know the things to do, make sure you lock your door. Where are you going? Who are you going with? Call me. I'm just that protective type mom. But I want to continue for us to, do things and spend quality time together as time permits for her, because she's a very busy person.
I do realize that being a mom is a marathon and not a sprint. So our relationships, all of us, our relationships with our daughters and our children are rooted in love. It's going to be okay. Like, I know it's going to be okay. I'm looking forward to the happiness, the tears, the ups, the downs, because that's life. That's what it is. So, I mean, as long as our relationships are rooted in love, I know me and my girls and my son are going to be okay. We can weather any storm. And there's going to be a lot of them. So, I mean, we know this. We know this. So I'm just looking forward to having as much fun as I can with them. And then when the storms come, just weathering them and moving forward.
Learning how to, so I think nowadays, you've got so many distractions, like even when you get together, be it the cell phones, the TV, or whatever, making sure that when you are together, that you're actually focusing on each other and really taking time to pick up on how people might be feeling without really saying something, to take time to maybe really see how are you doing, and on both sides. And then also like kind of like some of you were saying, trying to have that fine line between when you kind of still be that active, that motherly role, now that my children are all young adults, and then also when to be just like more of a friend to them, and giving them being more consultant. Like sometimes I know my kids might be going on a trip or something. They're supposed to get back. I'm starting to look at what time is I start trying to think about things, or did they know this or that? And I'm like, wait a minute, they're adults and they'll navigate it. So back off, don't be a helicopter mom. But just I think mainly making sure we're there. Don't let the things around us distract us, but make sure when we're with our families that we're really there for each other, and that I can feel comfortable they can always reach out to us. And also I think I feel like I'm learning too is be willing to be vulnerable so that they can be vulnerable with you. I think a lot of times we're afraid to be vulnerable with one another.
That's good.
And I would say, I think I'm going to have to learn to pull back more so and let my daughter just kind of be the one that reaches out to me when she wants to be involved. Because we've done a lot together. We've traveled all over the world together. We've had so many trips. And my daughter has actually helped me grow. And I don't know that she realizes that. But my mother was not a affectionate person. She showed her love by the things that she did for you, by cooking your favorite meal. That was her love language. But it wasn't until like way into her later years that I ever really remember hearing my mother say that she, that I love you. She would say, when she hung up the phone, she would say a bushel and a peck, and we would say a hug around the neck. That was how she said, I love you. My mother wasn't a hugger or a kisser or, any of that. And my daughter is that person. And I'm like, how did you become that? I mean, 'cause she makes me hug. She'll walk up to me and grab my hand. She kisses me. And by her initiating all that affection, it's made me more affectionate.
But I think a part of it too is that they see what you go through when you're doing those things.
Yeah.
So while you're going for excellence, while you're helping the community, it can be rewarding, but it can also be very painful.
Yeah.
And they see that. And so I think it is like, if we were to talk more about our own mothers, I think you would see that a lot of who we are and how we do stuff and the choices that we made, the things that we chose not to do were because we watched our parents do those things and we saw how it affected them. So I think even with her, she wants to get away from here because she sees like it's like they don't want to be in our shadow. They don't want those expectations.
Right.
Well,
Right.
Dawn
Right.
is such a community person.
Right.
We know she's gonna be, and
Right.
she was like, no. I want to be. I want to mind my business. I want to take care. I don't want this expectation on me,
Right.
you know. And I think that's what we have to keep in mind too, is that they see the hurt. They see. They're like, my mom out here doing all this stuff for people, and people are ungrateful, and you know. And so they do set their own goals and boundaries based on what they see us going through, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, I read an article that said hustle culture is dead.
it's thank goodness.
Like the kids, they don't want to work as
They
hard
don't.
as their parents do.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
Nowhere
Like
near.
my kids are like, I'm never going to have 4 kids and have to do all this work that you do and all this cooking and cleaning and doctors. I'm never going to do that. I'm not having any kids and I'm living in an apartment. You know, that's how they think. And that's probably how, you know, Taryn probably thinks too. I don't need all this. I don't need all this. That's what they always say.
And we think about our parents, we wanted more.
We didn't have a lot.
We didn't have it, right? We wanted more.
Yeah.
Although we didn't have it bad, but we wanted more than them. We wanted our kids to have more, and our kids don't even want more.
They
And
don't
they
want
wanted more for us.
They did.
They did.
They
Right.
did.
And
They
we
did.
want out more for our kids, and they're like, no, I'm good.
I don't need all that. I get the bare minimum.
But I think that's good because they're not looking at success as things.
Right.
Right.
They're looking at it as experiences. And just in therapy, I know a lot of children, a lot of teenagers and young adults, they don't feel like they have a lot of time. They're like, this is a dying world. Like they really believe that life is going to change and it has already began. And so for them, they're not going to waste 40, 50 years at somebody's job.
Right.
Right.
You know, they're not going to save all their money for retirement. They're going to do the trip. They're going to eat the food. They're going to quit the job. They're going to do all those things.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Totally different than us.
Yeah.
Like I'm 45 and 46. So
Yeah.
we didn't think about death I just really started thinking about parents dying. I knew about death, but like my late 30s, 40s. I didn't think about that in my 20s.
yeah.
So it's totally different. And to your point, they are thinking about it younger and younger. Even my son, he was like, I didn't think I was going to be here to 25. Where you thought you was going? I mean, you know, they don't think about living a long time.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for this encouraging conversation. I think we've learned a lot from each other, and I hope others are going to learn a lot as well.